What's up guys, welcome to today's video. I'm helping out Chris today, getting this RX-7, our customer's RX-7, wired up because the fuse box and some of the interior wiring is not that great. So we're gonna make it a little bit cleaner. You guys have probably seen this car kind of in the background of some of the other videos, but today that is no longer. I don't think I've ever successfully moved a car by myself across the whole shop this easily. So I told Chris I was interested in helping out today with this because I'm actually doing a very similar thing to mine. I have a 2004 WRX and I'm doing a very similar thing to mine right now with doing a wire tuck, fuse box tuck, basically a whole new harness. With my workout today, I don't need to go to the gym later. All right. Today we're working on Mike's RX-7 here. It's got a crazy wide body kit on it. Crazy engine setup, a little bit of a drag pack. I guess he's here for some wiring cleanup that me and Chris are gonna tackle today. The car's been here for, I don't know, a few months now, but today's the day we're gonna dive into this thing, finally get it ready for him. So overall, this car is pretty cool. It just needs some cleanup basically. So that's why we're here doing the wiring side of things. Let's pop the hood. I'll show you guys what's underneath because it's pretty cool. All right, so the front bumper needs to come off. I actually put that back on a few weeks ago when we did a open house event here, just to get the bumper up out of the way. So first things first is I'm gonna take off the front so we can get back to where the fuse boxes were kind of sitting and see if there's any other wiring that needs to be situated up front.
I had previously installed the bumper with zip ties just to get it up out of the way during our event. With the front bumper off, we can access more of the fuse boxes.
That looks good.
Yeah.
We installed a Haltech IC7 digital dash, which has a super clear full color display, and will be able to show loads of info for Mike. With a heavily modified FD Rx7 like this, it's very important to know what's going on throughout the car. On top of the display, many of the fuse boxes up front did not have any covers on them, so Chris found a sweet set of custom 3D printed covers online, and we also fabricated a small bracket to hold on one of the boxes in a solid location. With the battery reconnected, we tried to start it up, but we had no fuel for some reason.
We're back. We enlisted Kevin's expertise. My department on like the fuel systems on these is not as high as Kevin's. So if you look down, it's got one of those high-end fuel baskets and shit like that. And Kevin knows those, so he's gonna come look at it, but we got it cranking. So we figured out the electrical issue with the ignition. And here he is. What are we missing, or not missing? The pumps don't come on.
It should have power and ground right here.
Well, it's grounded, I know that. Yeah, so you don't have power there, so let me turn the key on and see. Maybe, I don't know if the pumps
It's supposed to have power and ground, brother. Why has it got two red wires?
There's two pumps in there.
There is?
Yes, so go ahead, put it on the P1, okay, P2. Yeah, the pumps aren't getting kicked on, Where's
the relays?
I have no clue. I didn't wire this thing. That's why I had you come over. No neutral safety switch, dog. Sounds like my boat trying to start in the water.
Very bubbly.
Going on with
Yeah, this white wire goes to nothing.
Yes.
Up front it was just capped.
Yeah. So these are your direct voltage, your 12 constant to the relays for the pumps. There's a brown with a red tracer and a brown with a black that triggers the pump. Both the blues, which is the feed, so the white and the red go to your relay. So the two blacks are your triggers. So we got to figure why it's not. So here's your trigger wires. These are your constants, and then these are your outs. So when the relay triggers 86 and 87 flop and give you power, so it goes out. But it's weird, it's not. That's gonna be a bitch to figure out. We're gonna have to trace. Look how small those are. They're like 25 So we got to trace those things. And this has a Haltech, however you say it. Oh my God, there's so many wires right here. It's gonna be somewhere in this fun. So you can see what we had to do. You got a 3-position push button. And they cut the original ignition side out. There's supposed to be a harness here and they cut it out. I don't know why. So we had to figure out where everything went. We made these two. This was already here. So it cranks over now, so we're good. Now we just gotta hide all these wires, put the switch back in the dash, put it back together, and then figure out why the fuel pumps don't come on. We should be able to start it. We went through the wiring on this, so a lot of people have worked on this, and fortunately we're the last ones to work on it, so we can make sure it's right when it leaves. But the ignition side of it was all wonky. It's amazing some of these vehicles run the way they come in. You know, some people can put shit together and it actually drives, even though it's not right, but it works. So we got the new wiring done. I redid the whole ignition side of it. So now it's a crank no start. We're gonna jump the pumps just to make sure that the pumps actually work, because this thing's been sitting for so long. So once we actually test the pumps, if both pumps work, jump and power with the power probe. So we'll ground the basket separately and then power them 12 volts, 1 and 2, try to start it, make sure it runs. If that passes, then we gotta dig through all the wiring, so. And we're just being careful. Always use protection, you know.
We did a little more digging into the harness around the ECU before the end of the day, but still nothing.
So we are back to this thing. We found the pumps aren't triggering in the last session, right, Jordan? The car ran with a stock instrument cluster. So now it's got a Haltech, whatever you want to call it. We have no spark and no fuel.
Do you want to show them the spark plug tester that you brought in?
Yeah.
Just to show how that kind of works.
So down here, so this is like a generic tester. It's got different adapters and stuff. So when you crank it over, if you have any type of spark, you'll see a nice orange glow across that piece. So this, we kind of figured that it didn't have any spark just based on, we manually turned on both pumps at the same time and had upwards of 50 to 70 pounds of fuel pressure and it still wouldn't start. So that's where we're at. There's kind of a mess in the wheel well right here in the corner, and then inside the car, you got like an inch of harness that goes through right in here. You can actually, big main harness. That's like your coil, your full ignition system, cam position, the crank and all that stuff. So it's gonna be a pain in the ass to figure it out, but it did run. The only thing we changed was the cluster. Matt worked on it, so we're trying to pick up the pieces. So hopefully we can get it running.
We tried cranking it over one more time, but yet again, there was no spark for some reason.
Power probe. This can either make your life really good or really bad. These things can be very dangerous in the wrong hands. I don't even know if I should have one, to be honest with you. These are a great tool to have if you know how to use them, because they have relays and stuff in them and circuit breakers, but you can power, ground, and then they have tons of attachments for these. We use this to find a bunch of green wires on one of our customers. That's 2500, right? That GMC. We worked on Yuri's. This has a special tool that like sniffs broken or shorted wires, so it can save you quite a bit of time. So hopefully it helps us with this.
Matt pulled up the wiring diagram for the Haltech ECU to see if anything was wired incorrectly, but all wiring was good there.
We have news.
So tracking down the problem with this, it's like the dash comes on, cranks, but there's no fuel pumps, no spark. It's like the ignition side of it. So in the relays, we found that these were constantly triggered, but not switching. So they weren't like powering out. It wound up being that the ECU is bad. So we thought it had a power from the ignition to the ECU. We thought was the issue, but it's not. It's the actual computer is bad. So Matt's gonna take care of that. We're getting a new computer and then try it again, see what happens.
I'm recording this right after it just happened, but we just started the RX-7 and it had the freaking loudest pop unexpectedly ever. I wish I got the camera, but I did not. My ears are screwed. How are your ears? Mine are shot.
Not great.
Yeah, so we just started it, and as soon as it started up, this thing just shot the biggest bomb ever.
Yeah,
and I wish I got it, but
That shit was wild. I'm like almost 90% deaf now.
that was probably the loudest pop I've ever heard. You guys tore this thing down to pretty much nothing.
Yes.
And now we're coming back from it, so.
Everything reads on the Haltech like it's supposed to. Matt's been working on this thing all day, having fun, so. We got everything hooked up, ECU powers and triggers like it's supposed to, and then it actually like started and ran. It just the first backfire was like worse than like a gun, like inside with no hearing protection. My ears are still ringing, and we did that like 5 minutes ago.
That was insane. It was
But it runs.
it does run. After that initial pop, it was good. What's the plan? Get this thing back together, and then we'll have to start it again?
Yeah, and we'll shoot we'll do a startup video. We're all gonna have earmuffs on.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That was scary.
Even though she was ready to start, we came across yet another issue that we'll find out in just a moment.
We gotta drain the fuel out of it, so take it off here at the pump, and then Matt's gonna build a hose and we're gonna drain it. I think we're doing, Matt, are we doing this to calibrate the level sensor? Yeah. Okay. You gotta be able to swing it both ways. Oh, nice. Shouldn't have to be super tight as long as it doesn't piss all over the place.
So why are we draining this again?
To program the level sensor. So it has to be like absolute bottom and then top, and then it can do the in-between. That's pretty cool. We got to do the same thing with that one too, with the Chevy. They all have to be programmed. All right, let's see what kind of mess we can make.
Yeah.
No, you're all good. More worried about that because that's B+, that's battery. But we're just gonna power that manually, the pump, with a power probe, just to be on the safe side, so.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, good flow. It looks pretty dirty though. I don't know if that's the premix in there too. I think it's got like a red tinge. Smells great. Yeah, it's definitely the premix. I think premix is red. Yeah, that's why it looks like brown. Brownish red.
Oh dude, we nailed it. Look at it, it's like
I know, perfectly
identical.
Was that like
I
10
called
gallons?
it. Nice.
He called it.
All right, so now we'll program the level sensor because now we know it's at
Low.
it's empty essentially. I think we're putting new gas and premix back in this, and then we'll fill it to what as full as we can get it, and then we'll calibrate it for the top, and then you should be able to get from empty to full and in between, and then it's done. And then you can come get it and drive it.
Or so we thought.
All right, help me with the flap. There we go. I got a kink in my dink.
When Matt went to check the level through the Haltech program, nothing was changing.
What a move.
Wait a minute. Is there even any wires coming off the top hat?
There's probably no gauge.
The level wire is not hooked up to anything. That could be problematic.
Let's redo it. All right, so Matt found this fuel level sensor online that was actually pretty pricey. So we just got that installed, and then he did the calibration. So the calibration worked. We didn't even have to do anything in tank since we have it out of the tank. I just lifted it all the way up for full, all the way down for empty, and that's that. Now it should be set, put it back together, and I think we're gonna just do a little cleanup, and then we're pretty much done after this.
So I'm gonna let it run and hopefully clean out whatever shit's going on.
I brought my headphones this time, because that was loud last time. after a few days total of work on the RX-7, it finally ran perfect. All wiring was complete and tidy. This one was definitely not easy to say the least. But yet again, another car that came in with tons not right, and it'll leave us corrected, running great for our customer.
That's all we got for you guys today. If you wouldn't mind, please hit that subscribe button and even a like if you really like us. We're so excited to get the season kicked off here. All the lifts have been packed, the dyno's been packed, so we got a bunch of fun content coming up for you guys. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. See ya.